Friends, GST is uh, one of the draconian provision as there are so many notices are issued, so many complexity is involved, and it is evolving law, and it is easy also as compared to other laws. Income tax, it's bit easier. It is easier to imply. If you're right, if you understand the law very clearly, they are very categorically. If you make up with the law, okay, you want to manipulate with the law, it's not easy. The data collected by GST department is so huge that any discrepancy made by you is exactly come to you with AI. With this introduction, I have come across so many questions, queries, so many issues which has come up, which are likely to be resolved in the favor of the GST SEC rather than demand. The collection department of GST, the GST implementation authority, is so kind, but they follow by exactly word. Whatever is written, whatever is shown, they would follow it because it's an automatic process. It's an auto driven. If you provide the data, they don't ask the question. If there is a all match, they would not come the question. If they have an information that one of the other is not linked to proper, they would ask the query. With this understanding, why I have explained you this judgment, which is a sequel which I started with this today on Monday. I have corrected 100 judgment, which is a basic nature. I have gone into the depth of the judgment to give you the understanding that there are possibilities that many times you think that you are caught on a wrong-handed, but there are likely that you can come out so easily and effortlessly. But paperwork should be good, and this is in the context in which each judgment is explained in detail. And not only that, I am going to give you the copy of judgment, copy of section, why we come to a conclusion, why would it come to, and where you can use it in favor of the SSC. This is going to be sequel. Today is 19th. Next lecture is likely to take in on 3rd, next 3rd February, that is on Saturday. I and Nirav Shah is going to take a paper, and this book is I'm also going to publish. This would be in the form of ebook, which is available on the blog also. We have explained the the MSME issue is also solved properly. So with this, I'm going ahead with this thing. Okay. This is the first judgment. I have taken judgment with exactly the proper perspective where GST SSCs are caught, which they think they're caught wrongly, but they can be saved easily. In this case, GST vehicle was detained and the petitioner make a petition on High Court for appropriate order. What was the fact of the case? In this case, as respondent, they made a statement through learned AGP to pass a fraudster because the pre-deposit. In this case, the SSC had come to a conclusion like there was some minor mistake in the uh, in this case in the e-bill, and they have raised a question, and when they have gone to High Court, AGP has said that, you see, AGP means respondent, the government department says that they will issue a fresh order and they would ask for pre-deposit, and because of there is a understanding between these two, the case was withdrawn, or petitioner is asked to make an application before first step authority release the vehicle suitable condition which may be imposed by them. So what has happened in this case? They come to a conclusion that person does not make anything wrong, and that's why it is. I want to remove this. I'm not able to remove this. Let me try and remove this. Okay, let it be here. Okay, the person in accordance with the law. So there was a compromise happen, or there is a issue order issued by the AGP that they will give a fresh order. So the case is withdrawn or petition is dismissed. This is the case with Taxman 146 Taxman dot 262 Odisha Vedanta Limited versus Union of India. In this case, supplementary refund was claimed unit-wise after the transaction was maintained when refund granted on consolidated figure and the multiple were registered with the common GST. In this case, what was the case? The Vedanta has applied for a refund on the basis of consolidated figure. They were all registered under one GST number, one registered person, and they have different units. They were keeping different set of accounts. And when they come to a conclusion that if they go unit wise, they are likely to get more ITC refund. And they applied to the AO for refund. AO says, no, you are not entitled for. They go to AR, appellate authority denied, they go to High Court. High Court says that you are not entitled for refund on the ground that refund, supplementary refund, input tax credit, consolidated claim of utilize is submitted with 3 units. It was granted. Unit-wise quantum of refund was much more than the comparison of all unit together. Application for grant of supplementary was submitted manually. Supplementary refund was I don't want this. How can I remove this? A second. Oh. Man, can you come here? I don't want this to be here. I want to remove this. ये black strip आओ जने मारना चाहिए. Black strip I don't want. How can I have it? નથી મારે ક્યાંની છે યાર એટલે હું થાકી ગયો. Okay. No, your screen. Okay, ठीक है. Okay, let it be here. Shoot. Let reshare it. Share the screen again. Can you share the screen again? Because you have to restart again. इधर लेना. F5 करते हैं. एक मिनट रुकिए. ओके ठीक है. ठीक है. પાછું અહીંયા કેમ આવી ગયો અને વાંધો પડ્યો. ઓકે નહીં આવે. ठीक है. Done. Clear. The supplementary was defined on the ground that all units were registered. एक second, I want to just remove this. Okay. Okay, supplementary refunds were denied on the ground that all the units were registered under the common GST as a result of refund cannot be claimed unit-wise. Because once you claim this, the circular 146 meant this thing has gone to a circular. I want to remove this 1 second, hide the video panel, right? Hide the routing, meeting control. Yes, now it has gone. Okay, now it's okay. I got it what I want. Okay. Circular number 125/2044, 2019. GST do not envisage filing of supplementary. What High Court says? What High Court says that once you claim for unit wise, you are not entitled for it. You cannot change your decision. This is also envisaged. This was not envisaged in circular number this, where the refund order under the original application of grant considering all unit together same was accepted. The application for supplementary could not be entertainment. Challenge to state to the fact that manual refund are not allowed and was not sustainable. Court says that it is also not circular because it is against the circular. What GST they have referred? Section 54, Rule 89, 89.4. If they issue, it would be ultra vires of the refund. That's why once the refund issued, it cannot be regranted because there is a change in the stand by you from unit to this thing. There was no provision for manual filing. It was against the rule of this thing. Hence, the refund was denied. So, if you go into the circular, you'll be able to know why the refund was not granted. And certain times they said that 89.4 is intraverse of the police. They sometimes come to a conclusion that it is ultraverse. There is a case under which they said that this section is ultraverse. I'm going to put this judgment as well as this slide into my portal so that at the appropriate time when you want to use this judgment in favor of you, you can use it. Now I'm going to next slide. This is a judgment 148 taxman.com 10 Chotulal versus Union of India. In this case, attachment of a bank revocation application was made by the petitioner for partially responsible for allowing bank account to remain attached for a long time. He has not applied under Rule 15159 of the 5. He should approach rule number. We have explained that we have attached the rule here with so that once you follow the law, you go to the section, you go to the rule, you go to the circular, you go to the notification, you go to everything is prescribed. If you follow this, there are chances that law is very balanced approach. It's not one-sided. Okay. There is application maybe sometimes beyond this thing, but 99%, if these are the judgment would be in favor of you to take the case. In this case, actually the bank account was seized, and the person Chotulal had never gone to the bank and gone to the GST department and asked to do the procedure followed. He should approach the authority under Rule 5 within 1 week of the authority should have taken decision in 3 weeks' time. Issue raised on a factual jurisdiction and not liable to HS has been taken at appropriate level. As he has not gone to appropriate level, the High Court has dismissed the case. Judgment referred JCAM Enterprise versus this dealt with the challenge to action taken under Section 83 of CGST. Formative State of Gujarat petition, Punjab High Court in the case of Bindal Smelling has come to the conclusion with this provisional attachment. There is which I have given you the statement. I have not gone. I have gone to the judgment. The judgment copy will also available in my blog. When I'm not putting it right now, but I'm going to put it after my 2-3 presentation. Section 83 of provisional attachment to protect revenue in certain cases, where after the initiation of a proceeding under chapter 12, 13, 14, 12, 14, and 15, the commissioner's opinion that any purpose of protect the interest of the government revenue, it is necessary to, he may by order in writing attach provisionally any property like FD, movable property, shares, everything, including a bank account belonging to a person or any person specified in section 122 1E, subsection 1E. Section 122 1 is also I have mentioned here in such manner as may be prescribed. What is saying? If certain provision 12, 14, and 15 is stay, they can attach your bank account. And there is a procedure laid down here where you can do this. Any such provision attachment shall cease to have effect on the expiry of 1 year from the date of which the above order is passed. Now I've gone for the rules. Rule provision where the commissioner decide to attach a property including the bank account in accordance with the provision of this section 83, he shall issue a form number GST or DSA 22. He will issue this form to the bank as well as to the concerned SSC whose account is attached. Commissioner send a copy of order attachment to the concerned authority or transfer of the such blah blah blah, and a copy of such order shall be paid to a person whose property is seized. Where the property is of perishable nature, we are not going to discuss. In that case, they have a special provision to deal with that. Okay. Any person whose property is attached, rule number 5, which are coming, where any person whose property is attached file an objection in GST 22A to the effect that property is attached is not liable to be attached, and the commissioner may, after affording an opportunity being heard, to the person file objection, release the said property. In this case, Chotulal has not filed an objection under section 23 and commissioner has not disposed because on the basis of submission. So read section 83, 122, 122, 1A provides certain persons are allowed to who are not the SSE but who have benefited by the by the GST person either in the form of tax credit or certain things. That person property can also be attached, but not everyone's. And to the extent under section 122 1A which is being mentioned here. Now I am going to Chotulala's case. Are you clear? If your property is attached, this procedure should follow. And when it is at chapter 12, 14, 15, plus it can be held for 1 year. You can have an objection. If you do write nothing, still it would be will be open after 1 year. They have to pass the permanent order. This is a provisional attachment. And in case of your SSE, in case of the other person, there is a limitation also. So you cannot the property of other person who are not the SSE. In that case, you are entitled for only under section 1A of section 122A. Okay. Are you clear with this, Shotulal? I have explained you by section and what purpose this section is made. This is a case of 147 taxman 83 Orient Traders versus Deputy CID of this thing input tax credit mismatch form. At a time of validity, this case arises in the initial stage when GST or 3B, 2A and all the system is not established. Now the system is very clear. Now if you have if you file if you have get an input credit, it has to be there in the books before certain date in the portal. If it is not, it would be rejected and certain dates are provided by which you can claim this. So now there is in this new form there is a provision also in the form that what date you can retain the credit. So now in ITC has been absolutely mechanized so that you cannot make the things mash of it. Department has done a very good job. Input mismatch in the form. At the time of filing, the irrelevant error was committed. That is, the details were recorded under a wrong table, resulting in mismatch in 3B versus 2A. Notice was issued disallowing ITC on the basis of mismatch. ITC was solely a record of error of recording the figures in the wrong column. Errors were entirely bona fide and invented. Admissibility or availability is not in question. Department was aware that actual figure and error committed. Selectively ignored the ISCAT because there was some provision at the start of the year. There was some possibility. In the absence of GR 2A of the relevant period, in fact, any correction of the error would not affect the revenue collection. And that period in dispute pertains to the first year of CGST regime. GST regime department was directed to open the portal, allowing the taxpayer to make necessary changes in 3B to correct the miss in case technical glitches. So there are so many cases of technical glitches. In that case, if you go to a court, court is lenient and appropriate. When you need to go to a high court, your all remedy at the stage of appellate or at the stage of assessment is followed. Then they will entertain. They are ready to support you. In case of technical glitches, correction may be allowed to cover manually and physically. For that, Section 16 of the CGST Act, Karnataka High Court, Para 8, 12 and 13 in favor of the SSC. Okay, now we are into next case. Orient Trade, okay. A rule reversal of input trade in case of non-payment of tax. I said that these are the new forms, these are facility available. I'm not going into the details of this rule. The reverse of an input in case of a non-payment tax by supplier and re-availment of their. Now there is a provision that if you are denied and you have to reverse. And when you re-availment, there is a re-availment column is also available, which is introduced from this quarter. Where I'm not good reading that because it becomes more academical rather than this thing. So I'm letting go the rules 37. 148 taxman.com 146 Chandni Aircraft. Chandni Aircraft versus Union of India. ECAC service tax order dated 15/1/2020 and Commissioner Central Excise appeal was denied and there is a judgment. The appeal is filed against these two. A refund of accumulated input is on account of export of goods under the letter of undertaking. What has happened in this case? There was a technical error which is time and again coming up, and because of that, his refund was not issued. He has been issued refund on 2 cases, but not in 1 case. A refund of accumulated input tax credit on account of export of goods under LUT, provision of section 54(3) of CGST Act, amounted to rupees 6,07,878 for the month of July and August. No, this is not a case. This is a case regarding 6,07,000 were claimed on export of good under letter of undertaking for the provision under section 3. The assistant committee issued a provisional refund dated service a partially sanctioned the refund of claim, the petition rejecting the refund claim for the IGST. Whereas the refund under section rejects order said that was passed into rejecting the claim of the petitioner. Section 54(3) of CGST Act Rule 92 CG said that refund could not have been rejected by the authority without providing opportunity as much as the provision of Rule 93 envisage the issuance of notice under RFD 8 requiring the applicant to furnish the reply in RFD 9, and after considering the reply in RFD 9, 6 are made in form 6, and that no application shall be rejected without giving the applicant the authority in this thing. Section 54(3) read with 92(3). When your refund is applied, it has been rejected, then assessing officer should issue notice under GST RFD 9, 8, requiring him to furnish a notice under GFT 9 and GFT 6. The apology by its impugned order on the issue of violation the principle of nature is through in favor of parties by observing that natural justice has been fully appealed. So in this case, Chandni Aircraft, what has happened? He has been not considered the notice. His refund, one was granted, one was not granted. Provisional refund was granted. And on the basis of that, Chandni Aircraft 54(3 read with 92(3. The RFD 8, 9, and 6, the provision has to be followed because it is an authority, it is a provision of natural justice in favor of the petitioner is not followed. It is submitted that action of contrary to the provision of the rules and order have been passed in violation of natural justice to be set aside. Reliance has been placed on World Home Textile versus Additional Commission 121 Taxman 556. All these judgment is available on blog after I finish all my presentation with all notes so that where you can judgment where. Violation of justice by the executive authority cannot be cured at the stage of hearing. What they've done, when the original orders pass, they did not take care of the issues of notice. But when they go to appellate authority, they given a issue, they have given and ask them to produce any document which they want to produce. But what court says that what is to be set at the stage of AO cannot be rectified at the stage of appellate authority. Hence, in both the cases, at the AO level and at the assessment level and at the level of appellate, they rejected and the matter goes to High Court. Applicant was to give an opportunity of hearing in the absence of the same principle was cited, and order could not be affirmed by the appellate authority on the account of fact that appellate authority had self provided opportunity of hearing. No. But this both orders were not sustainable. The matter was to be remanded to the AO, adjudicator authority. The failure of natural justice by the authority first instance cannot be cured by efficiency of natural justice, the appellate authority, as some say would encourage tendency of authority to give short shift. Short shift is khatak karke nikal diye. No, it's not that. Short shift is not allowed. This is a word which is followed. Now this is again a case of 146 taxman. So if I recall what I've said in this case, first section 54(3) rule has to be followed, and if there is a procedure not followed, it cannot be cured at appellate level, and hence the matter has gone to remand. A remand report would be considered, and the fresh notice can be issued. Now this is a case of 146 taxman. 385 Supreme Court. State Bank of State of Punjab versus Sieve Enterprise. Feeling aggrieved and dissatisfied with the impugned judgment and order under section order dated 4th February 2020 by the High Court of Punjab and Haryana Chandigarh Civil Enterprise 135 taxman, by which High Court has set aside the order of detention of vehicle issued by the Officer of Assistant Commissioner, wing state where has preferred to present an appeal. Let us go to the fact of the case. At Soko's notice stage, it was premature for the High Court to opine anything, whether there was any evasion of tax or not. Here, what has happened at the time of Soko's notice was issued, and appellate authority is so High Court has come into intervention of this thing and has passed an order that on behalf of the SCN. Hence, court says it is not permissible. So High Court's order was dismissed by the major bench. At Soko's notice stage, it was prematurely for High Court to opine anything whether there was any invasion of tax or not. At the same would be considered as an inappropriate proceeding. Impact notice was issued. High Court has materially erred in entering a writ petition against the SCN and quashing aside with the same. Section 130 of CGST in Article 226 of the Act, Article 236 is very categorical. They are providing that High Court on its own motion can take case of 4 or 5 things, including habeas corpus and all these things. And High Court taken on its own suo to take the case. In this case, as High Court has gone into the judgment before Soko's notice was concluded. Hence, they say that High Court cannot do this and he has no power to go into the SCN and give the judgment. This judgment is very categorical and very fine, and in there you can make a distribution of this thing. This is again the next case, 146 State of Punjab versus this. We are going into the now. This is a case of 146 taxman.com 357 global seamless tube versus SERE. What was the fact of the case? Once there was some mistake has happened, the tag was given to Global Series as a risky tag, export tag, and this tag continued for so many more than 1 year. So he has applied to High Court that why my tax should not be removed. It's my fundamental right that I cannot be taken as risky export tag for so many years. This is a risky export tag made on the petitioner, perpetually putting someone against the risk is constitutional right to carry on business. Petition was heard and directed the department to follow the laid down the circular, give the person and decide the tagging. This is regarding CBA circular number 131. This thing. Okay. These are High Court and Supreme Court judgments. So there may be facts. Maybe if you go to the judgment, it would be 7, 8 page, 10 page, 15 page. But I will make it a concise and concept so that you can understand the concept rather than going into details of everything. Okay. After this conclusion, there is a if anyone has an issue regarding uh, any GST related subject, you can email me, you can WhatsApp me, you can write down the whole question, draft the question. I am supposed to reply to the extent what I know. This is again case of 146 segment 560 Jharkhand. Subhash Singh Chaudhary versus State of Jharkhand. Transitional credit. This case is related to when VAT converted into GST regime. There were different laws by which the tax was collected. So VAT, entry tax, and certain laws were collected. If they issue the refund in entry tax and you have to pay tax here, what for that this judgment has come into existence. The High Court says that the transitional credit transfer it to this thing and give the refund and give the credit instead of giving a refund and this thing. Okay. Transition credit tax deducted at source. Transition credit of VAT TDS was denied without issuing verdict on the summary order, and same was confirmed by AA. Whether amount deducted towards TDS was a credit amount to VAT which could be transitioned into GST. What law says? The use of word credit of amount value of added tax and entry tax in section 140 of CGST Act indicates that intention of legislature to allow migration of credit of TDS and entry tax. To entry of TDS amount entry tax was allowed at a transition into GST so as to avoid cumbersome process of taking taxpayer to take refund. Prohibition on transition of credit in terms of 1 to section 141 CGST was restricted to credit expressly blocked in terms of section 75. This is not expressly blocked entry tax under 141, 140 subsection 1 of CGST read with section 17.5, and any contrary interpretation would have been nullified. The object of transition impugned order including demand notice were to be set aside. Tax was entitled to migration TDS refund and petition was allowed. So are you clear? That is transition provision which will not come into picture. So this case is not too much material. Artos International Private Limited LLP versus Deputy Commissioner of Custom. Refund, export of goods, GST portal technical glitches. There are certain people says that we have a software problem, we have a technical problem. That is not affecting the individual when they have a right to do business, they have a right to do certain things. Technical is no technical. What says technical is nothing, you can rectify it. But it cannot harass, you cannot deny certain person a credit, deny a certain person legitimate right of tax to be paid because of technical glitches. This is what I can conclude. Many times we go to say GST and inquiry said because of technical reason we are not entitled to this. No way it can be allowed. Petitioner exported the goods and refund was granted 2 out of 3 shipping bills. Atos department contended the third shipping bill was showing permanent cancellation by PO for transaction as ICE get scroll status and refund was not paid by the bank on account of mismatch in the terms of form petition. Now what generally the provision is now GST authority passing on to this paying bank. Paying bank, this is ICE get. They could not issue the refund and the issue doesn't come back to them on IGST. Hence this problem arises because of this. In this case there was a change in the name. Because of the change in name, 2 were given, but third was not given because of there is a mismatch in this thing. Department contended that third shipping was showing permanent cancellation by PO as per ISGAT's role status, and refund was not paid to the bank on account of mismatch in the name of the firm of petitioner. Shipping bill are deemed as refund application when goods are exported with the payment of tax. The department should have given under section 90. A refund must be given. The refund was not granted due to deficiency in GST network. Refund was to be directed to sanction the refund with interest of 6%. What government says there is a technical glitch doesn't affect this because in this case 3 bills were there. One bill was two were given, one were not given. This is I'm not into the whole 15 pages judgment. I've given one liner. Okay. This is the way I have concluded because I have to take 100 cases. If I take today 20, it takes 5 days to finish my all judgment. But before coming to a conclusion, I'm going to give you all judgment even section also in the form of ebook. 147 textman.com 245. Radiant Enterprise versus Joint Commission of CGST. This is an intra-court appeal filed by the Reed petitioner directed against this order to section 28th December 2020 by the learned single judge. This is a wonderful judgment. If you go into this, like many times your case would be getting out of it because of some intra appeal were made. In this case, what has happened? There was an SCN was issued, order was passed. He preferred an appeal, point number 1 and 2. SCN, AO, and on the basis of second, you say appellate authority has passed the judgment in favor of this thing. And as there is no cross order, second appeal was not into SCN and that come into picture and says this is not allowable as per law. And High Court has gone into single bench to double bench. Let me explain you the case, then you will be able to understand in detail. Because these are the way why I'm explaining you these complicated cases, because though you find it complicated, when it comes to your case, it becomes very simple. This would be applicable to you. On perusal of the order passed by the learned single bench, this Radiant Enterprise gone into double bench. On perusal order passed by the learned single bench, we find that learned single bench has quoted paragraph 7 of the order passed by the appellate authority. This single bench judgment of a high court has been reversed by the supreme by the double bench, and has held that the appellate authority passed by the authority, and has held that it is in perusal of the order passed by learned. We find that learned single bench quoted paragraph 7 of the order passed by the appellate and has held that it is not inclined to interfere into the order. No, this is an order against AR where they have come to a conclusion on the basis of appellate authority. What appellate authority written? We find that there is no independent finding recorded by the learned writ court as to how honorable court was convinced that reason recorded by the appellate authority was just and proper. This view is very crucial in the instant case since the appellate had filed a writ petition challenging that portion of the order by the appellate authority which has never case before the original authority, and suo motu raised by the appellate authority, and the decision was rendered against the appellant. What is this? Says writ petition was filed and writ petition was rejected on the ground that the appellate authority has suo motu taken the case, which they should not have taken because SCN cannot be increased by the appellate authority also, which was never case before original authority and was suo motu by the appellate authority. This is very typical judgment. Thus, it is seen that the original authority rejected the refund claim only for the reason that the tax has been paid. What of the matter? The tax was paid by another person whose on whose account he has paid already, and not by the appellate authority. Therefore, they are not entitled to maintain the application for grant of refund. Appellate authority rejected the ground that it is not paid by the one. Agreed by the same appellate find the statutory appeal before the appellate authority. The ground of appeal annexed to the stay application, from which the appellate have contended that as to how a service recipient they are entitled to maintain the application for refund. In support of their contention, several decisions were quoted by the tribunal as well as the various high court in this country. Thus, the appellant contended that the person who has borne the incident of tax can file a refund claim in accordance with the provision of section 54, and in the case hand appellant was the person who was ultimately the incidence was borne. So section 54 would be available and is entitled uh, to have the refund on the basis of somebody else to have paid, but it is to be borne by him. The appellate took up the case for consideration from paragraph 5 of the order passed by the appellate authority for the discussion and finding of concern. In paragraph 5, the appellate authority states that two issues were involved: whether the recipient of service of goods can apply for the refund for excess or payment paid or not. The first is in favor of the appellant in unequal terms. The appellate authority has stated that the appellant are entitled to maintain the claim for refund. Second issue, whether the building purchased by the appellant from the purchase of everready are taxable suo motu taken. This appellate authority was not available at the time of assessment, nor in the SOCOS notice, but he is taken on the SOCOS notice. Second, however, the second is which was suo motu framed by the appellate authority has been decided against the appellate. Firstly, the appellate authority ignored the fundamental recognition while deciding the appellate appeal. The appeal is against an order of rejection for the refund claim only on the ground that appellant not person who had remedied in this appeal. The appellant cannot be put to disciplinary position and cannot be worst off in the second appeal. If I have made appeal for rupees 5 lakh and the 5 lakh is granted, but another 3 lakh were added, which is against the nature of justice of me, I cannot be put at a more disadvantage than I had been. Thus, the second issue were framed by the appellate authority could not be framed, and there is no jurisdiction for the appellate authority to frame the issue. Assuming that statute provides a cross appeal to be filed and the state has filed a cross appeal, then the position would have been different. However, CGS3 does not provide for any provision for cross appeal by the revenue in a statutory appeal filed by the appellate authority in section 107. The second issue needs to be set aside as per High Court. or the reappraisal is allowed, the order passed by the read petition set aside and the read petition is allowed and the deposition of order by the appellate authority squash. If the power under the appraisal is to be revoked, it is not the case of respondent revenue that the appellate authority thought fit to take the other issue. That too in appeal filed by the appellate against the order of rejection of the refund claim. That appellate there is no direction issued to authority to file an application for considering other issues. Therefore, assuming the appellate authority exercises its power under section 1072, such exercise is not according with the statutory provision and being a violation of provision as violation of provision of natural justice. The appellate authority could not have taken the decision of second issue, which did not emanate from the order issued by the original authority. Now, sometimes you come to a case where SCN is not there or at authority level come to a different conclusion, different parameters, you can use this judgment, Radiant Enterprise versus Joint Commission of CGST. This is a wonderful case which I have to read 10 times before coming to even during the even explaining even sometimes I go to miss the bus. But the order passed by the appellate authority on the second issue is set aside and there will be a direction that application filed by the appellant for a refund shall be entertained by the original authority and appropriate order passed by the same. Refund application shall be processed with a period of 4 weeks in serve the judgment. This second issue of this cannot be right. Hill CGST does not provide for cross appeal by the department. Now concluding, CGST does not provide for cross appeal by the department under statutory provision filed by the 107. In case power to file clause can be invoked, notice has to be served to the taxpayer. However, no direct exposure to the authority to file an application considering this. Even assuming that in absence of notice, in violation of natural justice, appellate could not have taken a decision on issue which did not emanate from the higher authority. Hence, the appeal is dismissed. Now, I am going to a different judgment, which is 147 Taxman 530 Hind Aluminum Company versus Assistant Commissioner. The petitioner has challenged the impugned order dated 4th January 2023, passed under Section 74 of TGST. What is the order present? Non-application of mine to reply sent by the petitioner the impugned order. The so-called notice dated Bobby. You know, when you come to these cases, you will be finding so categorically that in our day-in-day job, some of the lapses are there, and you can take the benefit of certain lapses, which is why I have explained you for the CA or for a consultant who appear before GST that this under judgment read, hear, and use it in your day-to-day life. Your life will not be as draconian as you think it. There are so many judgment you can use it in your favor. Okay, this is why I decided to explain the judgment one by one. I have taken so many hours and hours to read this judgment with this act. Even then, I'm fumbling when I explaining you. So it's not always easy way life. But once you come to a clients can be benefited or SSC can be benefited, and some genuine atmosphere is created between GST department and this thing. And I find it very like I always I'm practicing more than 40 years, and I'm going to departments since so many years, including a bank and all authority. But I never find I never agitated by the stance taken by the department. I always stand for my right and always stay with my right. And I would like to be as simple as possible to deal with the subject. And when you are simple, things always comes as simple or simpler than what you thought of it. Sometimes it happens, but it's not or it's not always that we are always right or not always. We as means as a consultant, but even traders or businessmen are not always right. So it's not a question of right or wrong. It's a question of being simple and go ahead with this task. With this, I go to Hind Aluminum Company versus Assistant Commissioner. The petitioner has challenged the impugned order dated 4th January 2023 under Section 74 of the Tamil Nadu Goods Act by non-application of mine to reply sent by the petitioner, the impugned order has been passed. By total non-application of mine to reply sent by the petitioner, impugned order has been passed. The so-called notice dated 20th November 2022. The petitioner was directed to reply on 20 next day. The petitioner has also sent a reply requesting it to give some time. Notice is too short. The reply was dated 8 December 2022. Submitted. The petition has not been considered by the respondent under the impugned order. This is normal case. They give you 1 day notice. They don't consider the response given by you. The SCN issued the response was bald and culprit. What they're saying, SCN doesn't give you the exact figure. What they're saying, when SCN should be exactly, these are the parties, these are the tax credit, these are the sales, these are the purchase sales you are not considered, purchase ITC wrongly claimed, everything is to be mentioned. These are RCM, you are not paid. That should be very clearly categorically mentioned in the SCN. And the SCN should be bold and cryptic. It does not inform to the petitioner about the details of violation committed by them as per the section 74 of the GST Act. Instead of respondent has simply extracted the ingredients of section 74 and has issued a SCN. Notice issued response bold and cryptic. It does not inform the petitioner about the details of violation committed in TGST, which I said like this: sales, purchase, ITC, RCM, this refund wrongly claimed, tax short paid, interest not paid, penalty levied. These are the way these are SCN should be very cryptic, exactly to the point, pinpoint. If it is bald and cryptic, bald means without any exact information, is called bald. Under the impugned order, for the section 74 of the TGST Act, with penalty for claiming input tax based on the bogus invoices and debit note. They have said that the petition has been levied with penalty for claiming input ITC based on bogus tax invoices and debit notes. The learned counsel for petition drew to the attention of the court that relevant document filed in support of the aforementioned contentions. On perusal of the same, this court is of a considered view that the ground raised by the petitioner stating that the petition has not been granted sufficient opportunity has been accepted. Petitioner was not granted sufficient opportunity to send reply to SCN through the petitioner requested for the same. Therefore, there was total non-application of mine in passing the impugned order of SCN and simply extracted the ingredients under section 74 and does not disclose the violation. Hence, the matter was remanded for fresh consideration under section 74 of the CGST and TGST Act. I've already said you must specify what are the things which is not followed. If it is bald and cryptic, does not mention the things, does not given a time, and SCN cannot be replaced by the summary of DRC3. DRC3 is not a replacement of SCN. They should give exact information. If it is not SCN, it is likely to be squashed. This is a case of T. Murali Mohan versus CGST Finance Department. Challenge and present was and dated 19th February. There is a issue by DC of City of GST. Produce the document related to stock retention. Vehicle used in the generation of evil was inward. Outward supply as well as the intimation dated 31st March 22 of tax is certain. Under section 73.5 was CGST and CGST. The prayer is the opposite party should be asked to refund or refund of tax and allow the petitioner to prefer an appeal against the portal order. The petition is registered in Grasim Cement. It is stated that 4 vehicles of Grasim Cement were detained by the authority asking for the production of document. The petitioners by para say 6 of the present case petition payment was made on the protest in order to release the detained vehicles. He said he has paid the payment under para 6. No such letter of protest was produced before the court. It certainly was not made at the time of payment. And when what has been done shown to the court is a letter dated by the 6th July 2022 was not cryptic that payment is made in the process, but disowning the payment by this thing. So the later even 6th February to July 2022, the vehicle was detained on detained much earlier, 16th February. The vehicle was detained. Why vehicle was there? There was a Grasim Cements vehicle was going on from one place to another place, but there was no document was there, and e-way bill was not there. Hence, they decided to make payment, and they made the payment. They made the penalty. Now they come to the light. Murli Mohan says that no, we have paid under protest, and we have said so. But even the later date is 6 July, or nor at the time of payment, he was very cryptical. Now they say there is a rule under section 142 1A rule 142 1A and 2A, over it is open to a person paying whom the demand is raised to make a payment partial and file a submission in form part B of GST DRC 1A. For his reason best known to him, he did not opt for procedure. Instead of he made a full payment of tax and demanded without protest. Also till date actually not register not also till date he has actually not registered any protest with the department, which ought to have been made in contemporaneous with the making payment. 3 months after making such payment, he has sent a VOG letter containing that not acceptable, which is neither here nor there. Since the petitioner already made the full payment on tax demanded, the petitioner has by his own conduct disabled himself from availing the remedy available to him, if indeed payment was made under protest. Since there is no material to support the contention of the petitioner that he made a payment under protest, court is not persuaded to accept such submission. At this stage, none of the relief prayed by the granted, the relief is accordingly dismissed. Now I am again explaining this thing. So here the procedure regarding the same is not followed. He could have asked, he could have protested and make the payment, but he has not done, not at the later stage. He just choose to go to High Court. High Court says no. Now this is the case of Premier Sales Promotion versus Union of India. I think today is the last case. No, I have got 8 minutes to go. Okay, let me give you an example of this case. Okay, what is the Premier Sales Promotion? There is a company who is buying pre-printed vouchers, and he's selling to a say company. Suppose XYZ company is a company which gives a gift voucher to his employee. ABC company, he's buying a gift voucher, he is giving to his distributor, and EFG companies giving a vouchers to his salesman. uh, X company will say DEF give a company to his advertiser for promoting the scheme. Now these are the companies selling a vouchers to their person, and once they are say Radio Mirchi, or I give it to an employee, I give it to my distributor, they go and buy say McDonald, or they buy some this thing. When they buy, then that value is determined, and the company would now there is a four agency. One is this purchaser of this voucher, a company who uses the voucher, distributor, and a distributor or an employee, and then McDonald or the retailer where they buy the coffee or say gold or something. And then at what stage, four of the stages, the tax GST would be labeled. This is a question in this year. And they have referred the circular. This matter goes to Calcutta High Court. And I'm so now the case would be clear in the context in which I'm discussing. First is the prepaid company who has purchased the prepaid vouchers from A company. B company is the purchaser of prepaid vouchers. Prepaid vouchers are purchased by the employee company or distributor company or advertising company or say Radio Mirchi, and then they give it to say McDonald or Raymond shop, anything. At what stage GST would be applicable is a question in this regard. This is called a Premier Sales Promotion versus Union of India. So matter has been resolved, it's been AR level, then go to this thing, matter goes to High Court. I'm not going into the each stage what is decided. I would give you the explanation. SSC is registered company engaged in the transaction of procuring. This company procures this is A company is keeping the vouchers, B company is this, prepaid vouchers, gift vouchers, cash vouchers, e-vouchers. Its client issue the vouchers to employee in the form of incentive to other beneficiaries under promotion scheme. Consider the SSA receive an order for supply of e-vouchers, wherein the SSC sources e-vouchers for such client is for order received and acts as an intermediary between the SSC and supply of e-vouchers. What is the point before the High Court? Pre-printed vouchers, gift vouchers, cash vouchers, e-vouchers themselves at the end of the supplying themselves is taxable. At what stage for each three categories? There are three categories: gift vouchers, cash vouchers, e-vouchers. To understand at which stage GST would be applicable. This is the case. AAR ruled out the supply at the time of is a taxable goods at the time of supply in all the three cases. AAR ruled out the supply of voucher when you give the gift vouchers, e-vouchers, cash vouchers would be taxable on the date on which you give it to your, say A company gives to B company gives to his employee, employee goes to these things. So he said that it would be liable at B stage, B to C, and C to A is the company who's selling the pre-printed vouchers. Pre-printed vouchers is purchased by B. B gives to distributor, employer, and employer, and this thing, and employer gives to employee. Employee goes to this thing. Say what this is, what AR says, it would be liable at the stage of time of supply. Section 12(5) of the CGST and GST into this thing. The SSC challenged the said order before Karnataka Appellate Authority. Appellate has affirmed the order passed by the advance authority, feeling aggrieved the SSC has presented the rate petition. Now, gift and case vouchers themselves could not be treated as goods or services for the purpose of GST because it has got no intrinsic value. Vouchers themselves would not. When vouchers do not have the intrinsic value and they represent the value of future goods or services when redeemed, levy of such voucher is without authority of law and about to a multiple levy of taxes. Vouchers vouchers are merely instrument accepted as a consideration. So when an employee receives the vouchers, it is a consideration for which he supplies. It would be taxable as perquisite in the hands of the employee, and it is not an amount until so it will not be liable for tax at this stage. Vouchers are main instrument considered for supply of goods and do not have inherent value of their own. Yes, vouchers qualify instrument. They are covered under the definition of money. Money is excluded from the definition of goods and services, and hence the tax is not payable to vouchers. Transaction is restricted to procurement of printed forms, delivering the same to client. Printed forms are like currency, where form can transacted only at the time of redemption of vouchers and not at the time of delivery of vouchers. Issue of vouchers is similar to pre-deposit and not in the nature of supply of goods. Tax could not be levied on vouchers. This writ petition merit consideration. Hence the following. Writ petition is allowed. Order dated 12th March to the passed by the Karnataka authority, passed by the Appellate authority, confirmed request holding vouchers do not fall in the category of goods and services, and they are exempt from levy of tax. Clear? So what would be the stage would be liable? When they purchase the goods, GST would be applicable. They have to pay GST there, and then the subsequent transaction would happen, not before that. So what they considered, vouchers are not an instrument, not liable to state tax at all the three stages. This is a case of Sodox also. This judgment I have given it on my portal, which would explain you in detail how this judgment has come into picture. Now I'll take one more judgment, then I'll leave it here, and I will take it next slide. Next, my lecture, which is going to be come on 3rd. Let me take last slide. Varun Beverage Limited versus State of USA. A dealer was making a stock transfer from it Gautam Nagar, Budhnagar, Great Noida, To a, this is a case in which they were transferring the goods from one place to another place, and there was a e-way bill, there was a truck number was wrongly interpreted, and the mobile squad intercepted the goods and detained the vehicle in question along with the goods of premises that in e-way bill, and detention was passed on this thing on 11/6/2018. Thereafter, the penalty under section 129(3) of 2017 passed, imposing a tax of rupees 1,86,000 plus 3,30,000 penalty against the said order. Against the said order, appeal was preferred under section 107 preferred the dealer of additional sales. The appeal was dismissed. Hence, the case come to the petition in the High Court. Detention of goods penalty. This is the Varun beverage. Okay. The wrong vehicle number mentioned EVB was to consider as human error, and the same was covered under the circular 141/15/2018 dated 13/4/2018 and 21 June 2018. If you look at this circular, they said certain mistakes in EVB bill is pardonable on its own. In the instant case, there was a stock transfer which was not disputed. No evidence was placed by the department to prove that there was any intention on the part of on part of dealer to evade tax. There was only stock transfer. There was no intention to evade the tax. Further, this vehicle was minor. Order of detention and penalty was disposed of. With this, I conclude here. I will take further cases later on. My presentation will continue. Let me go to the last slide, which will explain you that there are so many judgments. I'm going to cover it in so huge way. So, my question is, people are really badly affected by this, and I want to help you in this thing. Okay, now I'm going to last slide and come back to you. You can write me in my blog, CA Nitin Pathak blogspot.com. There is one slide which I'm showing you. Now I'm showing again. Okay. Okay. Share the screen. I'm going to take the next lecture on this date called एक second one. Let me hide. So hide video panel. Hide floating panel. Hide video panel. Hide floating panel. So hide floating panel. Okay. I don't like it. 3rd February 2023, 24, that is coming on Saturday. I'm going to talk on the same judgment which is left here. It would be taken by Nirav, Shah and me. And you can ask me the question regarding this on this mobile number, WhatsApp me or email me. This presentation is taken physically also on the same time at 6:30. With this, I conclude this session of today. And I am running Isaka chapter, Ahmedabad. If anyone wants to do any course on this Isaka, I'm ready to guide you. With this, I'm concluding this session of today. Thank you very much for patient hearing. With this, I'm closing the session. Stop sharing, cancel, stop share. Okay. End of the session.